Hello and welcome. You're watching This is Exclusive with me, Shavin. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight I come to you with two exclusive stories. Starting with how exactly has Pakistan been trying to hoodwink the FATF. Tonight on This is Exclusive, we get you details of how the modus operandi has changed. Now the other big story that we're getting to you tonight is the mysterious trust in the biggest inheritance battle. Details of whether at all such a trust exists in the first place and whether at all this inheritance battle actually begins from certain execution of properties. All this and much more. But up first, let me take you through the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Jaish terrorist secret digital Hawala network exposed. Terrorists using social media to collect funds in Pakistan. Mystery continues in Kapur's inheritance feud. Mysterious family trust under the lens now. Rani Kapur claims never executed any document that has divested her of the ownership of her assets. Trump government responds directly to Republic's questions on tariffs. US government completely cornered by sharp questions by the most influential media network in India.
उस संस्था के मुखिया ने भी सार्वजनिक रूप में माफी भी मांगा है कि मैं गलती से जिसको लेके ये पूरा संसद के कार्य को बाधित करते हैं और हो हल्ला करते हैं, ये तथ्य गलत है, इसे उस संस्था के मुखिया ने कह चुका है.
Congress data scandal over Maharashtra voters raised in the parliament. Congress yet to apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, starting with this big story tonight. Pakistan's empty claims of cracking down on terror groups is now under the lens. Pakistan has claimed that they have banned Jaish-e-Mohammed and its related entities, that they have been engaging in cash-based transactions. But the reality is far from different from this. Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist Talha Said is using social media to reach out to supporters and raise money. Their front, Al-Rahmat Trust, collects nearly 10 crore every year through a national bank account in Bahawalpur. That's at the headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed, operating 7 to 8 digital wallets replaced every few months to keep the funds flowing without detection. All of this is to basically rebuild the terror center of Markaz in Bahawalpur, which was essentially destroyed by the Indian Army during Operation Sindoor. How exactly has Pakistan been evading the FATF lens? Tonight on This is Exclusive, we put the spotlight on how the system has essentially changed. Jaish-e-Mohammed, how exactly have they created this front and how are they essentially using digital payment in Pakistan, using an NGO as their front to collect money for what they say is reconstruction of their structures. On your screens right now, these are details that we are putting across of the entire Hawala network that has been exposed here and how they are trying to hoodwink the FATF. On your screens right now, key characters, Jabil Ahmed, Hufezi Asghar Alvi and Hamza Jalil. These are part of the entire network that has now been created. Ladies and gentlemen, exclusive details only on Republic TV in terms of how exactly was this carried out and what are they essentially targeting at this point in time, the digital wallet that they have created. Now, back in 2019, they had basically Pakistan had got themselves removed from the FATF's grey list. The Pakistani government at that point in time made a sensational claim that they have started what they called a national action plan. Now, this action plan, according to this plan, they had basically stopped all the NGOs, the so-called NGOs there, which was essentially nothing but Jaish-e-Mohammed entities. Pakistan presented before the FATF that it had curbed Jaish-e-Mohammed by taking its markers under the government control, placing Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar, his brother Rauf Asghar, his youngest brother Talha Al-Saif bank accounts under official watch. Now, it turns out that that they have now once again started collecting donations. ISI and Jaish-e-Mohammed coordinating a new mechanism. And Jaish-e-Mohammed began collecting funds and conducting transactions through Pakistani digital wallets, Easy Paisa and Sada Pay. These are the two wallets that they are essentially using. Instead of donating in bank accounts, money is essentially being transferred to digital wallets that have been used by Masood Azhar's family members. Pakistan's claim that FATF, by showing only bank account details, that Jaish-e-Mohammed's funding had essentially been cut off. Now, important to point out, there are some pictures we are going to show right now, which was after the Operation Sindoor that was carried out, and how several of these markers, the so-called markers of Jaish-e-Mohammed, were basically demolished. They were destroyed. But now, through social media, another attempt is being made to raise funds. They cannot essentially take the funds directly into their bank accounts because that is going to come under the scanner of the FATF. So what do? They come up with an alternative, and that alternative happens to be digital payments that are essentially taking place. And that's how they're raising money. 10 crore is the amount that has already been raised to basically try and once again reconstruct what was destroyed by India. In fact, this structure that you see on your screens, this is the Jaish-e-Mohammed's headquarters in Bahawalpur that was completely demolished by BrahMos missiles that were used, scalp missiles that were used by India, and this was completely down to rubble. In fact, it turns out that thereafter multiple attempts have been made. Getting us this big exclusive is my colleague Rakshita, and we're also going to go across to my colleague Gursubran, getting us the details of how these attempts have been made. First to you, Rakshita, with regards to the exclusive details, how they're trying to evade all of this. Not putting the funds in the bank accounts, using digital payments. There are two UPI accounts that these are accounts that have been created, digital accounts that have been created, and they get the funds in those. Take us through the document that you have.
Absolutely. So this is these are exclusive details, and this investigation has in fact showed many of these FB posts that are in fact looking for. These are proxy accounts on WhatsApp and Facebook, Shavan, and they are now collecting funds for the markaz. Markaz is supposed to be a religious center, but we do know that what these markaz have been used for, and now they're looking to build at least 313 markaz across Pakistan. And one of them you can see, this is Syed Safdar Shah. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, you can see this is a Jaish-e-Mohammed commander. His country, phone number, it's blurred of course for a reason. The address is all mentioned over here. And his FB post, the FB post with how much of amount one can donate, 2,500, 21,000. These are the sums of money that are being requested for. This is the CNIC number as well. The wallet linked to the phone number is of Syed Safdar Shah, who is an LAT commander. And they are also resorting to social media appeals. They are circulating an audio recording of Masood Azhar as well. Not just that, there are other accounts. There's a blank copy of the receipt as well. A copy of blank receipt. There you can see, if we could just zoom in. This is the blank copy of the blank donation receipt for the mega fundraising campaign, they call it. And Pakistan rupees 3.94 billion is being collected for these Pakistan digital wallets. So this is how they are, of course, creating this digital Hawala. There's another appeal you can see. This is another appeal, and there are many, they're very small images, but multiple accounts linked to those who are associated with Masood Azhar, including his brother Talha Al-Saif also. His name also emerges here. Muhammad Ismail of Bahawalpur, from Karachi, Fazlur Rahman of Chitral also. All these, beyond the online donations, they're also collecting funds in the mosque itself, despite the ban. So this is of course being done, as you mentioned, to evade the funding. FATF cannot trace them because they can only investigate the transactions done through SWIFT or bank accounts. And this is how they they are, of course, evading. There are more such account titles. One Khalid Mohammed, Easy Paisa account that has been accessed. This is a mobile screenshot also. This is the Markaz Ifta JEM operated. It is spread over 1.5 acres. And this is also used to spread propaganda and terror propaganda, of course. And social media page is also linked to this number. So these are the leads that have been received. Also, again, Aftab Ahmad. One such is Aftab Ahmad, and also Tala Al-Saif, as I mentioned earlier, Masood Azhar. And district commander, this is the JEM Haripur district commander, Aftab Ahmad. His address and his name, along with his number and CNIC account, has been linked to this FB post. Again, looking for terror funding, actually looking for donations for the donations to the so-called markas that are actually now being used as a mere just for propaganda, for, of course, funding terror, where young kids are hired, young children are hired, they are brainwashed, and they are indoctrinated. And this has been going on. And, you know, this is a huge amount. The proof is the Pakistan rupees 3.94 billion have been are being collected via these digital wallets. And one account is, as we said, in the name of Masood Azhar's brother. Masood Azhar's letters are also being circulated. His letter has been circulated, his audio message has been circulated. And remember, one of the markers that was Markaz Subhanallah, that was decimated during the Operation Sindoor, and many of the relatives of Masood Azhar, remember, were eliminated. We know in that, in fact, it was confirmed by Pakistan itself when they had posted, the morning in the morning in a social media post. So yes, India has hit them hard, but how they are trying to once again evade? They were off the grey list in 2022 by what you started by saying, saying that Markaz is now owned and controlled by the government. But this is how all these terror funds are being directed.
Thank you very much, Rakshita. I'll request you to stay on with us. Just about a few days ago on This Is Exclusive, we had essentially shown you, viewers, what really happened to one of these headquarters in Pakistan just after Operation Sindoor. And for months put together, it was completely in a devastated situation. Now, this, what you see, is something that we have seen all this while. There is another video that we have accessed. This is of the very next day of Operation Sindoor. The video that we had, roughly about 15-second video, which was accessed here. Republic TV getting you full details of how completely destroyed. Now, it's important to point out here this, ladies and gentlemen, on your screens right now, what Gursimran has been getting us. Gursimran, what more details are you picking up in terms of the diversion of funds that have essentially taken place?
Mohammed is doing, that they are spreading their tentacles like never before in Pakistan. Because, see, 313 markaz is what the plan of Jaish-e-Mohammed is now. And for the same, now they are collecting funds. Talha Saif, who is a close associate and a relative of Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar, he is collecting 12.5 billion Pakistani rupees for single markaz to be constructed. And a total construction, if you go into the reality, it is somewhere close to 1.23 billion to 3 billion for all the 313 markers to be built. That means a sufficient fund is being now kept at the disposal of Jaish-e-Mohammed terror group for procurement of the weapons, for training of these terrorists, and also the radicalization. Because see, Markaz Subhanallah was destroyed by the Indian strikes in during the Operation Sindoor on 6th and 7th of May. But the Markaz Ifta, that is in the Karachi, that has been running, that was not targeted, and that has been running, continue to brainwash the youth of Pakistan, to radicalize them against India, to tell them to launch a war for jihad against India. And that is what the Jaish-e-Mohammed has been doing. Now with them collecting this much of a fund, that 12.5 million for a single markaz and a total of 313 markaz to be built across Pakistan, you see the level of radicalization and the level of how Jaish-e-Mohammed is spreading its wing in every part of Pakistan. Because what has happened, that earlier they used to be restricted to 10 to 20 locations like Bilal Masjid we have seen in the Muzaffarabad that was decimated in the Indian strike. So total number was somewhere close to one and a half dozen of the Pakistani terror threats of Jaish-e-Mohammed. But now what has happened that they are spreading it to a large number. 313 is the target of Jaish-e-Mohammed, that they will be building markaz, and these markaz will be getting the Pakistani government support, because they will be continuing to say that this is a religious center that is being operated and being kept a watch at by the Pakistani government.
Well, thank you very much, Rakshita, as well as Gursubran, for getting us the latest details. Well, getting you another exclusive footage of what really happened earlier today when Delhi Chief Minister was attacked. Another video has now surfaced. It's dated 19th of August. In this CCTV footage, the accused is seen in the office inside the Chief Minister's private residence in Shalimar Bagh and making this video. In fact, it turns out a recce was essentially done by the attacker. See, he was present in the national capital. Family members maintain that he had left Rajkot the pretext of visiting a temple in Ujjain, and from Ujjain he landed in the national capital when a phone call was made to the family members. In fact, he had essentially said that he was upset, and right now he is also being questioned by the Delhi police. Let me go across to Akhil, as we have now got the latest video of the recce that was essentially done on 19th of August. Akhil, in terms of how long has he been here, the motive and the CCTV footage that has now been accessed by Republic TV?
Well, that's right, Shawan. If you see, for the last 48 hours, the accused Rajesh has been living in the national capital. And if you see, for 24-hour backs, he recceed at two different places. One at Shalimar Bagh, which was the previous residence of Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta. Second recceed he has done at the very residence, official residence of Rekha Gupta, which is at the civil lines. So he recceed both the places, and he stayed last night at a very shelter in civil lines area. So he was basically aware of the circumstances over there. We have spoken to some senior officials in the Delhi police, and they have said that a sustained interrogation of the accused is going on, because he's a repeat offender. He has been accused in 5 other cases as well, where 2 cases are of smuggling as well. So right now his questioning is going on, Shawan, and if you see, his medical examination has already been done, and in the next an hour or so, we can likely expect that he will be presented before the Tis Hazari court, where it's very likely that Delhi police will seek at least 5 to 6 days of remand in connection with the case for a sustained interrogation.
A quick question before I let you go in 10 seconds, Akhil, with regards to what's the motive? Has the police been able to establish the motive behind this crime?
Well, Shawan, that's the bigger question, because if you say in this case what we have seen, that this is an unprovoked attack, because he has planned it so meticulously. He has recceed the Chief Minister's residence, and after that, when the Jan Sunwai began at early morning at around 8 a.m., he was present since 7:30 a.m. over there, and for the last half an hour he was waiting over there. When the gate opened, there were approximately 100 to 120 people who entered inside the premises of the Chief Minister, and after that he also sat down on the second row, and after that he was patiently waiting and listening to the concerns of others. And after that, when his turn came up, then he jumped over there and then directly attacked the Chief Minister, in which what we have seen that edge of the table has basically banged into the over there, and in which what we have seen that a Delhi Chief Minister has got hurt. So right now she's recovering well, and this is what the information that we have received from the Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta's family members, that she's recovering fine at this moment.
Well, thank you very much, Akhil, for getting us the latest details. That's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. Coming up, trending with my colleague, Rakshita.